All right, hey, now it's the Rob from 106.1 Kiss FM here with my tag team partner in podcasting, the Ramblin' Jerry Valeri. Good morning, Jer.
Good morning, happy day after Mania. Happy your favorite Raw of the Year day.
Oh, yeah, you know what? I'm more excited for Raw. I oftentimes more excited for the Raw after WrestleMania as opposed to WrestleMania in and of itself. Well, I guess usually I'm more excited for WrestleMania, if you want to be honest, but following some of the more recent WrestleManias, including the most recent WrestleMania, I'm more excited for the Raw after.
I just wonder if it's going to be different because they're going to split a lot of the excitement up. So, because you're going to have a SmackDown after Raw too that matters. So, like,
correct.
With the brand split, Raw may not be as dynamic as it has been the past few years.
Well, to be honest with you, they'd be foolish not to. You've got two brands you got to take great care of. And to be honest with you, they've been doing a decent job of that since this brand split. So I've been hearing. I hear one debut is supposed to happen on Tuesday. I'm pretty excited about.
Who?
I've been hearing Nakamura's getting called up not tonight but tomorrow night.
Oh, I think putting him on SmackDown is a perfect idea.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's a great idea.
Awesome.
We already know the Hardys are on Raw because they're the Raw Tag Team Champions. Although if they want to complete their, because in the past 30 days, one of my buddies, Mr. Luchador, pointed this out on the one of the comments. They've won the they've been TNA Tag Champs, Ring of Honor Tag Champs. Now they're WWE Raw Tag Champs. They ought to go over to SmackDown and try to win those.
Right. Well, if they did, no one would notice.
Well, this is worth saving, I feel like. But honestly, I still wish they'd all be on one roster. You put the tag teams on one roster. You put the divas on another. The women, I still call them divas. I don't mean to.
Well, you look at the 4 tag teams for Raw last night and add in New Day. How great would the tag division be if you then added the Usos, then you added American Alpha, Slater and Rhino? Like, now we're cooking with gas. You know what I mean? I don't want to beat a dead horse on Mania Day, but
same with the girls. You got 2 opponents for everybody, and that's just awful. So, yeah, we won't harp on that one. Welcome, everyone, to our WrestleMania recap show. WrestleMania 33 was last night. We both watched, and it's worth talking about. Now, you didn't catch all of it, correct? And I understand because it is 7 hours of a commitment.
It was 7 hours. I had a Muay Thai seminar all day, and then I had to go schmooze the owners of my company. So I got trapped in owner conversations. I got home at like 8, and then I was in scramble mode. So I missed the entire pre-show, but missing that 1 hour, I caught up on it pretty easily because I didn't watch Pitbull, and I was fine missing that.
A new low for musical performances.
Awful.
A new low.
I knew it would be bad. I just knew it. I missed the Raw Women's Championship match. I skipped most of that. I watched like the last 4 minutes of it, and I missed the SmackDown Women's, and then I finished around 12:30 or so.
It's just too much. I mean, it's ungodly.
I was up till 1 in the morning. It was unbelievable.
I watched 6.5 hours of it, and I still didn't catch everything. I missed the first half hour of the pre-show. It's just ridiculous. And one of my notes is, to be honest with you, Jer, I could trim this show down quite easily to 4 hours.
Absolutely. And they somehow ran out of time. Like, did you notice that SmackDown Women's match? They were out of time. They rushed that fast.
So these matches are way too long, some of them. AJ and Shane, that match didn't end until 6:41 my time.
Yeah, it didn't need to be that long for what it was. They took too long to get to the part that everyone wanted to see with Shane.
Every match was a little too long, except for I could have used a little more of the ladder match, to be honest with you. Why couldn't we have put 5 minutes from AJ's match or Triple H's match into the only match I liked last night?
To be fair, everybody had to walk 4 city blocks to get to the ring.
That doesn't bother me. People talk about how it's too much. I love that aspect of WrestleMania because it's so unique. It happens once a year, and it's such a spectacle to behold. that like, and think about the investment, how much money goes into that set. My God, it's so gorgeous. I like soaking it in for that really long walk. I like those wide camera angles as they're walking to the ring. And I like that they don't run. And I like that they're not getting carted in. I love that. And I know people don't, but I do.
Well, I liked it, but it was just very long, and it would take a little time. I love what you just did there, because there's a lot we can bang on, and we will bang on some things, but focusing on the good, WrestleMania looked amazing. It looked amazing. The set was top-notch. The ring on top of the ring, when you did the bird's eye view.
Dude had a roller coaster.
That was so cool, and I love the technology they have.
Yeah.
Of like Seth Rollins with the torch and then the flames all the way down. Like, I love that everybody's logo is no longer on a Titantron. They're walking on it. It's cool.
Dude, remember watching WrestleMania 17? I don't know if you watched it live or not, like I did. It was the one in 2001. Still my favorite WrestleMania, but I remember I thought that set looked amazing. When it happened, it looked so much cooler than any set ever before it, and now it looks antiquated.
Yeah,
it's just remarkable. Visually, it's gorgeous. Now, I want to say this. This is something that I do believe should factor into a show. Like, if it is visually more fun to watch, that is something that can help, like the letter grade that we'll reveal at the end, I guess.
Yeah.
But also, I will say this. Something that will maybe negatively affect my score is, along with all that set production and hyperbole, you've got higher expectations.
You got to deliver in the ring, and that and all the wrestlers came out, and they all had sharp new gear. Everybody looked great.
Oh yeah, it was a feast for the eyes for sure. There's no way around it.
I feel like a lot of the top talent underperformed. Like Dean Ambrose and Corbin, they were a real disappointment.
Boy, well, I'll tell you this. I don't know how much I blame them, because as soon as you moved, I cared about it up until last night, because when you move it to the pre-show, I'm sorry, you told me not to care about it.
Right. I think they moved it to the pre-show because they had to get Naomi's glow moment in the dark.
I bet you it was more of a PR thing. I think it was why are you putting the women on the pre-show? Even though they had another Raw match, a women's match on the show, and you had Nikki and Maurice on the live show. I think they were worried about catching flack during this, quote, Divas Revolution or whatever.
They can't worry about that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I thought AJ and Shane, there were some botches there that it wasn't a great match. I enjoyed it enough. I started to get pretty legit upset because I was like, no way can Shane win this. I'll be insulted. I'll be offended. So at least they did that right.
I'm sorry. I lost you there because I got a message from Steve saying you had a heavy echo, but I think I just fixed it. Steve, if you could let me know if I fixed that, let me know. I'm sorry. I missed your point, Jer. What was it?
I hear no echo.
Yeah, I don't hear it either, but it's possible that we wouldn't hear it.
I thought Shane and AJ was a little sloppy and too long. I didn't love it. But the ending was good because I was legit ready to be insulted. I was going to be offended. I thought Shane was going to win. There was one moment where I was like, he's going to pin him, and I was going to be so upset.
It is probably a surprise to no one. Well, he's saying it's still there, but I don't know what else I can do to fix Jerry's echo. Maybe that will do it. But sometimes after it processes, it sounds different. I don't know. This is the best I can do for the audio today. I think it's set up normally. I don't know what else to do. Yeah. Anyway, I thought the match was way too long, and it's probably a surprise to no one that I did not like the match because, I mean, you probably know what my complaint is. My complaint is they keep working to all of Shane's spots we see every match. They
didn't need to break a table every match last night. They did not.
And you didn't have to do the elbow drop, even though AJ moved. I see it every time. I knew as soon as AJ brought out those stupid cookie tin trash cans, what was going to happen. That just bothered me to no end. And there was another part. There was another thing I saw coming a mile away, and it just annoyed me. I just didn't like it.
He has 3 moves, Rob. He has 3 moves. He has a flurry of punches,
which look awful,
coast to coast,
right?
And the table drop elbow.
Yeah. So that really, I didn't like that match. I mean, it wasn't awful, but it's just psychologically, it did nothing for me. Oh, and man, they did something on the build-up that really, really annoyed me. There was something, if this has aired before, I'm not aware of it, but they showed an alternate take of AJ putting Shane's head through the window, Jer.
They showed it from the inside of the car. I was like, how'd they have a camera in there?
This drives me crazy. You're trying to convince us this is legitimate. Come on.
We've never seen that angle before, because I noticed that last night, too. I didn't like it.
Why would that be in there? This drives me insane, man. This drives me insane. And just psychologically, if you're trying to be real, there's no way Shane would have been doing some of the things he was doing last night. Like, why would Shane do a shooting star press when you that just made no sense to me. I didn't like it.
Right.
I know.
I didn't love the match. I liked seeing AJ Styles. I liked him getting his first WrestleMania win. That was nice.
I did. Can I go back to some pre-show stuff if you don't mind?
Sure.
I've got a few things I want to talk about. So you didn't catch the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, did you?
I didn't, and I'm glad, because I read about it, and I don't need to see that nonsense.
Well, to those who did, I really thought, while I have no problem with involving Rob Gronkowski in the things, or however you pronounce his name, it came off so poorly last night. Like, I feel like when Bam Bam and LT had the celebrity / wrestler interaction, like, it looked good, you know? And then this one just looked so forced. Jinder and Rob specifically just weren't the guys to do it. I don't know. It just didn't look right. It looked so forced to me. I didn't like that. A few more notes from the pre-show. Number one, I've said this before. I'm sticking by it. And it's not that I don't like the guy. I've listened to him on XM radio several times, and he was a part of the Opie and Anthony show. You know, I used to love that show. Sam Roberts has got to go. This is not the spot for him. He's just not a camera guy. I don't mind Peter Rosenberg, who's another radio guy, who I've never listened to on the radio before, which is ironic because I've listened to Sam. I haven't listened to...
Which one looks like Garfunkel?
That's the Sam Roberts.
Yeah, I can't
stand him. And Sam, I love you. I love your interviews. The live interviews and just appearing on screen is just not his thing. I'm sorry. It's just the way I feel. I don't feel that way about Peter Rosenberg. I do like his contributions. On the same token, HBK has got to go too. He's taking away from these pre-shows like crazy, man. He adds nothing. He's a distraction. I just don't like him in this spot.
I need some of these legends to be legends. I need them to stay away.
I don't need him to stay away, but like, this is just not what he's for. You
right.
know, it's the talking head thing. Some people are good at it. Some people aren't. Yeah, Lita and Booker T aren't any good at it either, but Sean's the worst. Sean's awful. I thought that Xavier came off well too last night, where I feel like even though I don't think a lot of the Final Fantasy stuff resonated with the crowd.
I didn't know why they were doing that, and then I saw that they were a sponsor.
Yeah, that was confusing to me at first too. I thought that Xavier could have gotten lost in some of the Page stuff going on, but he didn't. He's been steadfast on social media. He's been steadfast, just taking it like a champ, and he's just ready to move forward. And that's
good.
It's what you got to do.
I did not hate them as hosts last night because it wasn't overkill from them. It wasn't too much.
Yeah, you know what? While it seemed unnecessary, it could have been much worse. I was expecting worse.
It set up the Hardy thing perfectly.
Yeah.
I mean, like, without that, like, it would make no sense otherwise for them to come out and make an announcement, and then it looks like, yeah, we're your boys. We're coming into the match. Like, I was fooled. I don't know if you knew what was happening. I thought, here comes New Day.
Absolutely. I thought, here comes New Day. And we'll go out of order for this one, because I do want to say, without a doubt, there was very few moments in the 7+ hours last night that I actually felt something. And my favorite moment from last night, without any second thought, I need no second thought, was You can say the Hardys return, or you can say that whole match. That was my favorite match. That was my favorite moment. It gave me goosebumps because I wasn't expecting it, even though I knew they were on the return.
I stood up. When that music hit, I stood up. I've never been like the biggest Hardy Boys fan, but I stood up.
Yeah, I was and it went over well. The crowd reacted to it. They still perform well, and I don't know what the future holds for them. I expect their run to go kind of similar to like the Dudleys and the New Age Outlaws, probably about a 1-year return. This will probably be their only title run. They'll be visible for a while, then kind of become, what happened to the Dudleys.
I hope they're used to really put Enzo and Cass over. Like, I think that could be a fun feud.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential. Plus, they can still, more so than those other teams, I feel like these guys can really go still. And I was happy and then I hope they don't get too bizarre. I hope WWE. I know people love the broken gimmick, and that's kind of lost on us. I'll be honest with you, but I want them to not be annoying. It's just my goal. Let's have them not be annoying, because when they are not annoying, they are literally my favorite tag team ever.
That was my favorite moment from WrestleMania last night, and I'll tell you what my number 2 was later when we get to it. My number 2 will probably surprise you.
Other things from that particular tag team match, they found a way to make it's funny because I don't like when Sheamus does those punches in the ropes, to the clubs to the chest.
Yes. And
I don't like the giant swing anymore. But for some reason, when they did it in tandem, it worked for me.
Yeah, I like them as a tag team, and I've realized that I liked every guy in the ring last night. I really did.
That match, and really, Gallows and Anderson came off like superstars too. And I feel like that's kind of something they've been missing is like, they don't have that. They don't have that Hardy Boys in the 2000s feel. There's something missing with them, not skill wise, just star wise. They're not where they need to be yet on that level, I feel like.
Everybody looked better in that match when it was over. Everybody looked good in that match.
Yeah, I agree. I agree completely.
Go backtracking. What'd you think of Kevin Owens and Jericho? I love Jericho's entrance. Yeah. I mean, I geek out when I see him.
Yeah, there was one moment before that was my funniest moment of the night. And if you need a line of the night, I forget who was making the call. It may have been Saxton, or it may have been Phillips. I'm not positive, but someone. Did you hear them trying to announce the quote YouTube celebrity?
No, I think I missed that. No, I missed that.
So it was so funny, dude. It was before the Kevin Owens entrance, and they're trying to talk about how star-studded the crowd is. Hey, Steve, do me a favor. Send me another text. Let me know if that echo is sounding better. I hope it is. Anyway, I apologize. So it's right before Kevin Owens' entrance. They're talking about all the stars in the building, which there were none. If your biggest star is Al Roker, we got problems. Yeah, I saw Seth Green in the crowd, but that's nothing. I saw Jimmy Fallon. Okay, he's a star, sure. They're trying to talk about there's a YouTube star whose name I didn't catch. Whoever was announcing it forgot the person's name, and they're trying to go to it, and they had to cut to a video package and then come back to the person. It was so funny because this is no one we've ever heard of. It's not a celebrity. It's someone who's gotten 1 billion hits on YouTube. Not even subscribers, just like hits. So. And Al Roker sucked. Yeah, I mean, why? That was just not. Have they lost that much touch? We don't need celebrities there. Why are we forcing it? Sometimes you have real celebrities that are on hand. A lot of times, those first few WrestleManias were star-studded for 80s standards. I hate to break it to them, as bad as it looked or whatever. The biggest star that, like Al Roker, was not going to resonate with the kids. You know who would and did? Gronkowski. Rob Gronkowski does resonate with younger people, and you put him on the kickoff show, so that's your fault. Yeah, let Roker be on the kickoff show, right? So there was that, and so that was my funniest moment from last night. I thought that was really funny, unintentionally. My note about Jericho is it just didn't do much for me. It was fine, but I kind of want more than fine for WrestleMania. Do you think it was the placement of the match? It didn't help anything. I can't believe it. I was blown away. First, you know what? Congratulations, Rob,
because your picks were awesome.
Hey, thanks.
Every match that wasn't like a total so you missed the Battle Royal. Whoever gets those right, the elimination 4-way girls. That's tough because there were multiple. Whenever it was like one team versus another team, and the Hardy Boys weren't showing up, you got them all right. Like you had your. I was sure that Jericho was going to win. I was sure that they were going to do the order of the matches differently. Like I was way off base with WrestleMania.
Yeah, I was pretty proud of my picks. I also got the over right on Goldberg and Lesnar.
Yeah.
Yes, a lot of my logic was also on point too. I didn't just luck into some of them. So I appreciate you acknowledging that. But that seems to be the theme is I get the big shows and you get more, but the smaller ones.
You got the big of the biggest. I mean, you got WrestleMania, and you were right. I was sad that you were right about a couple of them, but it was okay. Kevin Owens being U.S. champ, it makes total sense now that I know that Jericho's going to be leaving. I don't know. Like it felt like the beginning. It was very slow to get going. After the tag match, the crowd was into it again. But holy cow, you ask a lot of that crowd. That crowd was dead for some matches where they shouldn't have been dead.
Yeah, well, dude, it's been 7 hours, man. It's exhausting to watch it on TV.
I know I'm jumping all around, but like there was no heat for Goldberg and Lesnar. None.
Dude,
did you notice that?
There was a lot of spots where they needed to have heat that wasn't there. I mean, Taker, when Roman beat Taker, it was just like the crowd didn't even care.
They were upset. They were bummed.
It wasn't even upset. First of all, the finish was bad because it lacked that pizzazz that the WrestleMania main event should have. And secondly,
that's because Roman Reigns couldn't get him into the tombstone. That's how it was supposed to end. I guarantee it. They botched that. And
another thing, I'm sorry, there's no way around it. That match was in the wrong spot. Shouldn't
have been last.
Should not have been last. We had several potential final matches. We were talking. You thought it was going to be Wyatt and Orton.
Well, shame on me for listening to them. Shame on me for listening when they say winner of the Rumble gets the main event at WrestleMania. Then the whole time Shane McMahon's talking about whoever wins this Battle Royal is going to get the main event at Mania. Main event at Mania. What does main event mean then if it doesn't mean the last match?
I understand. I thought it was going to be Goldberg and Lesnar. You thought it was going to be Orton. I mean, even if we would have taken that bet, it would have been a push. And if we would have set up rules, I think Goldberg and Lesnar went on after Wyatt and Orton. Why
did they do it last? Did they do it last because he was going to leave his coat and hat in the ring? Is that why?
I guess that was what it was. I'm really sorry. I don't know what the problem is with the audio. I know we've got several viewers right now. Kevin texted, I don't know what's wrong with your audio, man.
I sound good on my end, and my mic's the way it always is.
And I have been told this before, and then after it processes, it seems to work things out. I don't know what else to do. I got the board set up the way I always do. Anyway, I'm trying my hardest, guys, and I apologize to those watching live if it's tough to listen to. I'm trying my absolute hardest.
So maybe what we'll say is this, fingers crossed that it works out in the processing.
Yeah.
And if you want to take a break for now, take a break and then come back later and see what the processing does. And if it's a total botch, then we'll do another one this week.
Yeah, there'll be more. Our viewer count is rising, so I guess people can hear it. I'm trying my hardest. I really apologize. Let's keep going because we skipped the Raw Women's title match, and you skipped it literally. We've skipped over it. My only thought, really, Jer, is when you combine the fact that Bayley retained and didn't win the title last night, combined with the fact that Cena won the world title for a few weeks in January, it really makes me feel like WWE had no idea where they were going with WrestleMania at the Royal Rumble.
They tell us, Rob, that they book it from Mania to Mania.
Well, they don't tell us
like
that.
A lie.
I've told you. I've heard that.
Yes.
They don't tell us that. It does seem like this was a very unorganized build, though, and this seems to fit the. I think if they would have known Bayley was going to retain at WrestleMania when Bayley won at Raw, I don't think they would have had her win the title at Raw. I think they just genuinely didn't know.
Yeah, because why wouldn't you have her have a WrestleMania moment?
I know. That's what I'm saying. So,
and why would you let Naomi win the championship just to give it up, just to win it back again at Mania?
Well, I kind of get that part because maybe they didn't know she was going to get better. But why did you have her on Tuesday? Why didn't you just keep it fresh?
Surprise, like a mini Hardy surprise, you know?
Yeah, it would have been great. So that was just sloppy stuff right there. The Cena, Miz, Nikki Bella, Maurice stuff. Listen, this is the problem of wrestling in the modern era. I feel like if we would not have known that engagement was going to happen, that would have been a true WrestleMania moment right there. But unfortunately, it was not kept a secret very well.
Yeah, I'm surprised it got out the way that it did, but it did, and it kind of ruined it because you knew it was coming. But I knew it was coming the minute they were like, and there's John Cena's mother, and I was like, oh, his mom's at ringside?
Once I saw him take the mic, I just knew. And I don't know, it came off a little corny only because I knew where it was going. But if we didn't, and this was before the internet or the internet hadn't gotten a hold of it, that could have been special. So if you're one of those people that didn't know that was going to happen, I feel like you got a special moment there.
That was a good moment. It was a moment everyone's talking about today. It was one of the newsworthy moments.
Yeah, that was, Kat put that in our celebrity news today without any prodding from me. I didn't tell her to put any wrestling stuff in there, but she covered that and she covered The Undertaker and it was in, like stuff that I was looking at, not from wrestling sites this morning.
And I love The Undertaker and thank you, Undertaker, and you'll be missed, but you won't be missed in this recent incarnation of yourself. Like, you used to come out and be intimidating. Now you come out and I worry about your cholesterol. Like, it's different.
We're still bouncing all over the place here, and that's fine. But with Undertaker, the only complaint I have now, I first of all, I'm cool with this being Taker's last match. I know it was a loss. This was one of his worst matches to go out on as far as quality goes and as far as heat goes. But
nobody wanted this to be the guy he put over.
Right, yeah. At least he didn't end the streak, though. At least that went to Lesnar. But while I don't want to see Undertaker wrestle again, not because I dislike him, it's just obvious what Jerry said. It's just getting sad at this point. I kind of wish they would have promoted it as his last match. Or if we're going to do one more, let's promote it as his last match. Do you think I feel like he deserves that? Or maybe I'd care more if I knew it was going to be the last time we saw him?
I would have paid more attention to it, maybe.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I kind of wish that either he's wishy-washy and not sure, or I would just like it to be, at some point, this is Taker's last match. I will care more, Yeah. Yeah, when I realized it was his last match, I was like, oh, okay. See ya. But I still didn't think it needed to be last. Absolutely not. No, it was a terrible placement for it, especially because, the crowd is with as fickle as they are for those guys, especially Roman. It's just like, that was just not the right spot.
You had 2 championship changes.
Right, and it devalues both of those, which they've already been devaluing.
Well, I think that Goldberg-Lesnar feud hurt them both. I think that Lesnar didn't have the heat that he normally has. Goldberg, nobody cares at this point. Like, that was just merciful.
Yeah,
ending that feud, getting it off of Goldberg, let's move on.
Yeah, that's kind of where they're going with this. And,
you know where they're going now.
I would assume they're going with Lesnar and Owens. Oh,
I thought Lesnar Reigns.
I'm thinking Lesnar Owens.
I hope you're right.
I think I am. I think it's, I would imagine the natural complaint is that Owens never got that rematch, deserves it kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure. Plus, he went over Jericho. So the Goldberg thing is in the books from what I understand. This last run, I know he had fun with it, and I think some fans may have had fun with it, but didn't really do anyone any favors except for Goldberg's kid.
Yeah, I had fun with it until Survivor Series was over, and then I didn't need it. I didn't need him to be champion.
Yeah, that was a bad choice, I feel like, too. It was just, I bet you that was essential to getting Goldberg. I feel like that was what sealed the deal. I think had they not offered the title, I don't think he would have come back.
Right.
Personally. Let's talk about the unsanctioned match, Triple H and Rollins, which, by the way, this was part of the problem of having 7 hours of wrestling is on a different, on a different night, I would have paid a lot of attention to that. I could not have cared less when it was on. And it's because I've been watching 5 hours of wrestling already.
That might have been it. I loved that match.
Man, I didn't. I barely paid attention to it. And I have to ask, well, first of all, my first note was, if I had to describe that entrance in one word, that entrance was very Triple H. That was a very Triple H-like entrance. It's just, that's what he does.
All I wondered was, since when do motorcycle gang members get police escorts?
Yeah, there's nothing says a gang of outlaws like a police escort.
You know what I don't love? Because I mean, Triple H entrances are Triple H entrances. I don't like the recent trend of like Stephanie has to be part of his entrance now.
Yeah, I guess she's the ballet, so to speak. So I guess I get that.
She looks good though, doesn't she?
Yeah, very much so. Absolutely. And then my other thought about this was, does WWE know what the term unsanctioned means? I think the answer is no, because if it's an unsanctioned match, which I get how you can be hosting an unsanctioned match, and I get how they could have entrances and stuff like that, you can't provide a referee. You can't, if this is outside the laws of WWE in this fictional world that we're creating.
So who officiates it? Like, you got to have someone count the ending, right?
Yes and no. You can just have it be a fight. I feel like it didn't even need, or there's ways you can get to a submission or whatever. There's ways it can end, but if it's unsanctioned by your company, it looked no different than any other match that night. Yeah, well,
it really didn't, because everybody was just going through tables. They made that stuff so not special.
Thankfully, they're broadcasting in 30 languages, so they've got 30 tables to choose from.
That's got to be why they do it, right? They had so many tables. I liked the match. I said to myself when it was starting, I was like, enjoy this, Jerry, because from here on in, you have Bray Wyatt probably getting completely buried by Orton. You have Roman Reigns, and you have Lesnar Goldberg. Just enjoy it. So I did. I enjoyed it.
Well, I'm happy to hear that. I didn't really enjoy it.
You know me. I like hardcore matches.
Yeah, I understand that. Let me keep going here. Talked about all that. Oh, the one thing. So I know you skipped the SmackDown women's match.
Yeah.
By the way, I knew that was going to be placed where it was, second to last. That's such a brutal spot to be in. Such a brutal spot. You don't stand a chance there.
You're basically just kind of cleansing the palate.
So there was a moment in that match where Natty had stacked Naomi on top of someone else. I don't remember who. And Natty tried to do... So imagine someone's laying on their back, okay? And then Natty body slams Naomi on top of that person so that it looks like they're kind of making a snow angel, literally on top of each other in the same position.
Right.
Natty attempts to do a double sharpshooter. So she's taking 4 legs at once, stacked on top of each other. And let's just say this was, I don't know if they had practiced this one or what the deal was. Maybe it went better in rehearsal. This looked laughably bad. And then what was great was she commits to it, and it still looks awful. So all the camera angles have the bottom half of them cut off so that you don't see how bad the double sharpshooter looks. It was really funny to me how in irony.
I'm going to go back and see it. I'm going to watch WrestleMania again today with Evan, but I'm going to have to fast forward because he has a life too. He has martial arts. He can't watch 7 hours of wrestling. That's a school day.
Dude, I understand, man. That's child abuse, forcing them to watch 7 hours of wrestling like that.
My Lord, my word.
Hey, I want to throw in one more thing about we didn't even mention Orton and Wyatt.
Right.
And I know we got to wrap this up here in within 10 minutes or so, but while I think it's probably fair to say their match wasn't great.
No.
Wasn't bad. Wasn't great. I do want to look at the positive, and I want to say that while the match was not great, that is exactly the way I want Bray to wrestle. all mind games. Even I guess to be honest with you, I think that the projector thing came off well last night. If we keep it to last night, where they projected the images on the ring, that was kind of cool.
I liked it. I was hoping it was going to end the match,
but he was all going for mind games, and that's what I want out of Bray. They don't need to. It's like Undertaker. He has a unique style. I don't expect 5-star matches out of Undertaker, and I don't expect them out of Bray. I want something different. And last night, I got that. That's the Bray I want every night.
Yeah, I get that. Unfortunately, Bray Wyatt is just completely buried now. I mean, Randy Orton took everything. I mean, I don't know there's nothing left.
Yeah, I don't know what the story.
He completely tore down the lore of Bray Wyatt in 2 months. And
or like I said on the last episode, or he figured him out, which I think was the story.
Right, but now what for Bray?
Yeah, but you know what, dude? We've been saying Bray's ruined for a year now. He's doing okay. I want
to say, my favorite moment from WrestleMania was the Hardys coming out, but my second favorite moment, and unfortunately for the crowd in Florida, they didn't get to experience the only really, truly enjoyable part of the Undertaker-Roman Reigns match. I didn't realize how much I missed Jim Ross.
Absolutely.
I loved it. He was like, this isn't for the weak of heart, folks. And I'm like, yes, no, it isn't, JR. Keep it coming.
Dude, he's the best, and I've always been singing his praises. I'm glad I'm not one of those guys who has to eat his crow, when it comes to it. And I even like the King on the SmackDown title match, to be honest with you, Jer. I miss both of them. I think they're both fantastic.
Will either be back? Is JR coming back for real?
I don't think you might see him more, but you won't see him regularly, I don't think.
I thought that was great. Right hand by Taker.
He's great.
I just loved it. It just was perfect. He makes a right hand sound exciting. He made it exciting.
And better than anyone else, bar none, Jim Ross knows how to tell the story. And that's what a wrestling commentator's job is to tell the story. And JR does that. So,
I think you texted me last night and said that pretty, as far as what's available right now, the three calling that match, JBL, Cole, and JR, they're the best you can have.
Yeah, they're the best that you can have that don't have bipolar right now.
Yeah, Morrow's just gone. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I wish him well, because I think he has the potential to be, Evans JR. Your son's Jim Ross. I think he does.
I think that he's going to be fired soon if he doesn't get his act together.
I don't think he's there yet. I think he's more sympathetic right now. I think that he's viewed as, maybe not a drug rehab type thing, but he's just someone who needs our help, and they're good about helping people, And man, I know we won't even have a chance to speaking about that stuff to get to the Hall of Fame stuff, but I loved the Hall of Fame on Friday, but we can't get into that right now.
We'll do that later. Did you like when everyone was chanting "You suck" to Kurt Angle?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. The last match I thought went over very poorly. It's so great, Jared, because it was a really good way to embody what we've been talking about with Roman Reigns. Every match with The Undertaker at WrestleMania, whether it's Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Kane, it's, whether it's Shane McMahon, Brock even, there's always that Undertaker kick-out moment with the surprise face. And Roman Reigns just can't do it. He's not capable of emoting.
He's like a Botox face.
He just can't do it. It's just not in him. And this is why we can't stand them.
Yeah, I didn't like him going over. I didn't love it. What's your letter grade for this show?
My letter grade, I'm glad you asked. My final note is just the win had no impact. The win had no impact last night. So it was the last match. It should have been a big moment, and it wasn't. So my letter grade, probably gonna be a little worse than yours. There are things that, like I said, benefited it, like a beautiful set. And other, but with things like all the expense that goes into the beautiful stadium, there are higher expectations. And this is the biggest night of the year, and they gave us the best of the best last night. And I think the show came off as it's becoming almost a catchphrase anymore. I give it a D+.
D+. Okay, so I have 2 letter grades. My first letter grade is if I compare this WrestleMania to other pay-per-views that they put on in the last couple of years, I give it a C+. I think it looks beautiful. It's awesome. It's amazing. It's great. I
Fair
completely.
enough.
I think that if you just compare it to other pay-per-views, it's a C+. Even B- could be, maybe. But if you just say WrestleMania is its own category and it's its own deal, and you're comparing it to other WrestleManias, it's a D. It's a D show. It just is. They're doing less with more. They're spending too much time doing it. I mean, you look at some of the old WrestleManias, they were able to make them 3-hour shows with just as big a roster. It felt big. 3 hours. They didn't have a ton of money into the set, and it was still amazing. They have more now, and they're somehow doing less with it. So I give it a D.
Well, yeah, I think that's a very fair grade. And you didn't even watch a lot of it. I mean, you missed the pre-show, which is certainly fair, and you missed the 2 worst matches in that musical performance that a lot of us watched. And yeah, it was rough. I'm comparing it to what it should have been, I guess, and I give it a D+. And that's it. It had one memorable moment for me. It was very much like last year's show in that I had low expectations for last year's show, but last year's show had 2 matches that I loved. It had the 6-person ladder match, and it had the women's title match was fantastic last year, and then a bunch of garbage.
Right. If I compare it to my high water mark for WrestleManias, which is 21, that's mine, then it's a D. And
there you go. And on that note, Jer, I'm looking forward to tomorrow's episode because there's going to be the Raw WrestleMania Monday, as it's called.
And I hope like crazy that this sounds okay to everybody.
I'm hoping so too, man. That's all I can say. So hopefully it processes better. I'll watch it. If something was wrong, man, I apologize. I don't know what to say.
It's okay. Let's just blame we'll blame Morrow for it.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
See you, brother.
We'll have another episode tomorrow.